I was called to diagnose this vehicle. It has the DPF light on. It has the DPF light on. We've done the cleaning already, so I'm coming to erase it, auto scan it. We'll bring you back when it is done. So this is the fault code we are seeing in the system. These are the fault code we are seeing in the system. So the whole issue is we've cleaned the system and the customer drove it for 2 days and it came up again. So I don't think there is any problem with the cleaning. So I'll smoke test the system and see, because I know these cars are prone. Diagnose Dan did a video and these cars are prone with intake hose getting burst. So I'll do a smoke test and see the actual problem, but for now I'll erase all the fault code and drive it for a while and see. So I have to turn the engine off, turn it back on, and erase the fault code. Then this one, normally when you erase the fault code, the fault doesn't go off, but you have to do special function, initialization, then DPF malfunction. You can see it just pop up again. So when you do the DPF malfunction, that's where the system. So we'll check and see why. We'll check and see if there is any leakage around the system. Normally at the intake side. So how this car works is, I didn't see any map sensor. I didn't see any map sensor or manifold pressure sensor or table boost pressure sensor on the table line. So what they do is, I think maybe they calculate the intake air and the exhaust pressure, DPF differential pressure, to see maybe you are requesting for more air entering into the engine, but there is less air in the exhaust. So the system will think maybe there is block in the exhaust system. So that's where you get this fault code. That's what I'm thinking. That's the strategy the system is using, because it doesn't have map sensor on the intake line or on the intercooler or from the table to the intake manifold. It doesn't have any pressure sensor on it to calculate whether there is failure in there. So what it does is it calculates the amount of air entering into the engine per the amount of air getting out from the engine. So if it doesn't tally, then it will tell you there is blockage in the exhaust system, which means if there is blockage in the exhaust system, then that means there will be less air flowing out of the exhaust side. That's how this car is strict to be thinking. So it will set this fault code. It will set these two fault code, which tells you that DPF overload or DPF Soot accumulation. That's the only way it will think that way. So what I'm doing is I'm going to check if there is any air leakage. If there is air leakage, then I'll change the hose and try it and see if the fault code will not come up again. So let's see. I'll do the air leakage test, then we'll see if there is any leakage in the system. If not, then we'll try it and see if it will come up again. So what I'm coming to do is I'm coming to check the table and see if the DPF, and see if it is clogged from this side, because I've done the cleaning already. I did the cleaning through the temperature sensor in front of the DPF. So now I'm coming to check it. So I'll put my L200 endoscope in it to check if I'll see anything. And if you check the image, it doesn't look like a choke convector or a choke DPF. So it could be, maybe the problem could be after the convector, but for me, what I'm seeing now doesn't look like a choke convector. Although you see certain particles in it, it doesn't look like a choke convector. So I'll fix everything back. Then maybe I'll do the smoke test to verify my finding, because from other resources or research that I did shows that these cars, even the late models are prone to like opening to that side. So I'll do that also and smoke test it and wait for the smoke test and see the results that I'll get. So I was called to diagnose this vehicle and I'm trying to do smoke test. I just finished with the exhaust. So I just worked on the exhaust and I did. So I'll fix this thing back. So what I'm doing is I'm smoke testing it, because this vehicle is giving me issue. So let me test my smoke machine. So I set my smoke machine to the evap. So when it gets to the evap, it will go off, so that I don't pressurize the system too much. Yeah. So now there is smoke coming up. So let me fix the tube here. So now that I've fixed the tube, I have to make sure there is no leakage. So the smoke will pass here and go to the intake. Then I should see smoke anywhere from here. So let me start tracing and see if I'll find out any smoke at this side, so that I'll use it to trace and see if I'm going to get any smoke around. So I'll just hold on for it to build pressure up a bit. It will pressure up the system a bit. Then it looks like I can see some smoke. I don't know how visible it will be to the camera. I can see some smoke around. Yeah, if you can see. So that means there is smoke around. Okay, so let me try this light. There is smoke around and you can see there is smoke coming out. So let me see if I can be able to identify where the smoke is coming from. Okay, so let me use this light. So you can see where the smoke is coming from. That tells me that you can see the hose is open and there is too much smoke coming from that side. There's too much smoke coming from that side. That tells me that my problem has been found. And you can see that's this where the smoke is coming from. You can see it is open. Yeah, that's where the smoke is coming from. So I will shut off the system and close everything, and now change the hose and see if that fault code will go off, which is telling me there is problem with my system. So I'll do that and shut everything off. So I'll dismantle my smoke machine and later come back to check on it. So that now I've seen where the smoke is coming from. So that means I have to replace this intake hose. That's the intake hose which goes to this side. I have to replace it. So I'll leave this one and work on it tomorrow. So now after I remove the hose, you can see that the hose is burst. So now I'm fitting in a new hose in it. So a hose that can hold. So after the DPF light is fixed, now I've driven it for 210 kilometers and the DPF light is not back on. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more videos.